Bad?
Sad with an S.
Oh, that's sad. Uh-oh, this is not going to work out. Well, we tried to do it, folks.
All right, let's start from the top here, Andy. First of all, clearly, if you hear Andy, you hear he's not in the room with me.
That's true.
We're more than social distancing. We are fully alienated.
Yes. We are. I mean, we could turn the FaceTime on. We could see each other. But I don't know if that would bring any more intimacy.
No, it wouldn't. And I'd have to not... I mean, I kind of like the freedom to make gestures that I can't on a normal night.
Well, that's true. What are you doing now? What are you doing to me now? What?
So
this is worse for me. This is worse for me. Now, you know what I'm very scared of? What if the right speaker's in the wrong ear? I guess it doesn't matter, right?
Why would it possibly matter?
Because we're stereo or something. I don't know. People are going to listen to it. I don't want people to be disappointed in the sound quality more than the deaths of loved ones. I don't want to have people be disappointed in the sound
think you'll
quality.
be pleasantly surprised, my friend.
Are you selling me a car?
I'm selling you a podcast.
Now, I had to go through a whole my whole therapy session to get up the courage to ask you if we could do it isolated.
Really? You wasted a whole one on that?
No, I had other things too.
Okay, good.
But she could not. Well, first of all, she predicted that you wouldn't be upset, and you would understand it.
Yeah. And how do you feel I did?
Well, then it took me a long time to write the. Then I said, "Well, I better call him right now." So then I called you and left some crazy thing.
Yeah.
And then I texted you, and then I just went to sleep, hoping that when I got up, we would still be friends. Wow. So you can tell that you can definitely tell that the fears I know have nothing to do with you.
Right, but you're feeling rightfully on thin ice in general right now, I can imagine.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that when this first of all, can you do a little bit of a? I know normally this is very annoying, but can you do a little bit of a catch up on the minutes of our last? I can't figure out when we recorded the last podcast. Well,
we recorded it one death ago. How about that?
Well, first of all, I do want to say one thing to people. Death jokes to me are never not funny.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if it's like someone trying to be Anthony Jeselnik and,
right,
trying to insult people or something.
There's a difference between coping and hurting.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's obviously the lead story is your mother lived up to expectations, shall we say?
That's right. She was supposed to go before my sister. But what I can't remember is when we recorded. My sister had passed.
Your sister had passed nearly a week earlier.
And where were we? I'm taking out I just want the people to know that I am taking out my upper teeth right now. Do I sound better?
Yeah, except for now I have a mental picture that's like...
Is that a hillbilly?
Yes, it was Toothless Hillbilly.
Susan said she has had enough of me going beep, 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 boop, bank.
I've had enough of you telling me that Susan has had enough of you doing that.
I know. I did notice because of death that all the people when someone dies tell stories that they don't realize they've told over and over again.
Right.
My brother did it. Everyone is like, and you can't stop them because people have died.
Exactly. That's why it's nice to hang with comics after a death. Not a lot of chafe.
Well, I had some chafe. Have you tried the jockey shorts? Those I find are less.
That's chafing.
Is Jockey the people making the masks, or is that Hanes? I think Hanes is making the masks. I think
Hanes is making the masks, yes.
Well, it's nice to know that a double tragedy has not sharpened my awareness the important things in life. I remember that Haynes. So here's the thing: is that so tell me when that we had done it after my sister. So I had arrived back in this is where I'm very confused, because when I got back from LA, my mom died.
Yes, remember we took a week off, though. I think that's what's throwing you.
Okay. Well, the thing is, and you probably have noticed this, is that one thing I noticed was that I had some euphoria from both of the deaths. Like euphoria, like in the sense of they went at the right time, they lived a great life. It's like a weird thing. I'm not trying to compare it to other people's grieving, but I didn't realize that euphoria was going to be short-lived.
Sorry to laugh.
I was walking down the LA River the day that my sister died. I was singing the songs that we had written together, and I was like, I can't wait now. We're going to have a memorial down the road, and I can't wait till I record those songs. And I was so happy, so I was like, all right, not too shabby, this grieving.
Right. The one stage of death, that's what they call it.
Oh, that's right. They do have different stages. Yes. But the first stage isn't supposed to be euphoria. Well, I'm not saying euphoria, but
no, but
there was a lot of.
It's a different thing, and I know it's. We were talking the other day by text about how you were just talking about how tired you were, and it's like because you've been clenched for a year,
No question, like holding my breath.
Yeah. So I know that when particularly when my dad died. There was, and he was on his deathbed for a while. There is just a sort of wave of relief of like, okay, at least I know how this is going to end.
Yeah. Can I ask you a stupid question? I mean, what else could I do? And I'm going to. This is not my mom. I got to see my mom a lot in the couple of days before she passed.
Right.
And it was calming to me. Like I felt like she was starting to let go. But what is a death rattle?
A death rattle is literally kind of the way that people are breathing before they die.
So she had that for for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean? It's just well, you're not. I know you're not a doctor. So.
No, but I've heard it. And it's sort of a shallower, raspier breath, basically.
And maybe I'm flattering myself, but I felt like when I was doing FaceTime with my mom, like I could see her calm down. But I think people think that a lot, maybe. Or when I went in to see her, but it did seem like she was, until the last couple of days, she was getting worse and worse in terms of being very upset about it, which she was when I was there too. But I was able to talk to her, and calm her down at times.
Right.
But it did seem like she did. Not only did she go peacefully, but she went peacefully with a nurse and Maricel, who's been with my mom for like the whole time, and this nurse who was so supportive when I was. If I'm repeating anything.
No, you're not.
But I think I'm going to now. So, but this is the same nurse who told me, who tried to tell maybe not. We were trying to get my mom calm, and I was able to see a lot about my own panic and where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because my mom was not currently in pain, but she was remembering the pain that she had been in.
Right.
And that's why she wanted to die, kind of. She wanted. Pretty much. Sometimes she said, I think I told you they said have one of those Park Avenue doctors come over with I don't know where that rumor came that a Park Avenue doctor comes over with a Kevorkian type pill, but
I think people just sort of think that a Park Avenue doctor will do any goddamn thing you ask them to do. Like write a glowing report that says he's healthier than any president in the history of all presidents.
Was that guy a Park Avenue doctor?
I don't know. But he was.
I bet he was. But then I also told you that she said she kept thinking that she couldn't stand what was happening with her body, and she wanted someone to get her out of the chair she was in.
Yeah.
Okay, so then she asked for, we thought was a chiropractor.
And you said it was a carpenter.
Carpenter, right. So, yeah, that was the thing, is that my mother, so I did say this, everything about with my mother is, what kind of accreditation do you have? Right. Do you have the right? Because she always just like that. So does your therapist, are they a doctor, your therapist? All that kind of thing. She kind of had the same thing my dad had about that Los Angeles. There's a lot of flakes out here, and I don't know how they got that idea. With the life coaches. I bet life coaching was invented out here.
I bet it was. Or at least and it will die here.
I was watching TV, and I've been just pretty much sad, like staring at the TV.
Right.
Sad. So there was this kind of life coach on, and he was like, I don't know what his thing was, because you know what you do? You breathe, and then put your hand on your stomach. And then Susan was like looking at me. Why? Because she couldn't believe I was following his. It was like it was working for me. Whatever he was saying. Right. And then he said something crazy, and I said, "What am I doing? This can't be the way to go."
What is this mindful breathing bullshit?
No, but it's like, do I need the technique from this life coach guy? I don't know.
It makes you feel better.
It does.
It ain't a bad thing.
Thinking, where did I see him? I'm going to get in touch with him. Well, before the show tonight, and I'm not calling this a show, but we might as well. It is a show. I listened to a thing about one of these podcasts I love called Love, Death, Sex, and Money, I think is what it's called. And the whole topic was this woman who is in she's an alcoholic, and how it's really hard for her not to go to meetings. And she went to one meeting online, since this whole thing has happened.
Right.
So she went to a meeting online, and she went to a meeting in person, and it was just fascinating because she was like, she couldn't stop thinking about they were all drinking from the same coffee pot, even though they had different cups. They were like, don't you? So she was like, it's just interesting. Everyone is dealing with this. I mean, I drove down the street to get mail today. I mean, the streets are deserted.
Yeah.
There must be a thing going on. How have you been? So what was your, you certainly could come down on me hard and make me feel terrible, but what was your thinking when I asked you if you wanted to do it isolated?
I kind of figured it was coming, honestly.
But you weren't thinking that, like, you wouldn't have done that on your own?
I was ready to go. I mean, my thing was let's sit at the table the long way, like a rich estranged couple eating dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have put more than 6 feet. That would have put 6 feet between us. But I didn't. What I didn't want was for you to be worried. So I didn't. I was really fine either way.
Well, that was very, very nice, and I think that this thing where my acceleration of my worst, the worst obsessive side to me, I don't know why I'm constantly surprised about it, but that's just the way, it's what my mind wants to do. My mind for some reason, my mind would traditionally like to focus on, I can't explain it. It's like each thing seems, sorry.
You're operating on two levels here with the COVID thing. You're operating on the I hope I don't get it level, like everyone is. But you're also waiting for someone else getting it to be your fault.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I've been paying attention these last 3 years, Andy.
And then I thought at first I was my first thing, just to show you how my mind worked, my first thing was, oh, you're going over to that house. Because if you don't go over to Josh's house, you're admitting that who knows what the argument was I was having with my...
I don't get it, because you've admitted every other fear to me. Why would suddenly a reasonable one throw me off my game?
I think it's because I kind of see myself as not a terrible fraud, But as someone my default stance is defensiveness. Can be defensiveness. So it's like I got ice cream going. The person's not even asking me. They're not telling me. You're not saying, Andy, it's good to see you, and you must stay here with me for 40 minutes, and your ice cream is going to melt. But I always look like there's a lot about me where I've done a lot of bullshitting in my life. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of bullshitting, and it's always scared. It's like, it's not even bullshitting. It's like the way I could be, say, when we first met to do the speech. I'm so defensive. You can't even get an idea on the table already because I'm already guarding against. I'm already closing myself off to the experience because of defensiveness.
Right.
So that's why I feel like that's a raw. It's like a raw nerve. It's like a raw nerve for me. Like.
Well, I mean, there's also clearly a thing where you just don't want to disappoint me, which is lovely of you, but it's okay.
Yeah, and I feel bad because you're the most, outside of my wife, and you're the most intimate relationship I've ever had. So that creates a lot of pressure on you because I am getting better at I'm not crazy. In other words, I'm not like, I know he's upset and he's not saying anything, or right. I know this is true. So at least I can drop my fears, but it's weird to me how blocked up I got. Like this last week, I found it so hard I didn't know, I want to reach out to people, especially people I'm close with, and say this happened. I just couldn't. The idea that I lost, dear Schmoofby, how are you? My sister and my mother died. I'm doing okay though. Right. It's like, it just made me frozen, and then I would flip it around to all these people that I'm not sharing it with. Do they think, well, not really, but, they're going to get mad.
No, but it's hard to call people and drop a double drama bomb on them, particularly in these stressful times.
Yes. Yeah, during the COVID. Well, that's the other part of the email is, unrelated to the coronavirus, I've lost 2 family members this week.
Right.
The other thing is that this concept that all of a sudden I have 1 family member left has really started to bother me. I mean, like, really started to, like, not bother me, but, like, the shock of that is starting to hit me. Because I keep thinking about I would call my sister so much.
Right.
So that just, I know that happens with everybody when someone passes. You're just like, oh, I'll call my sister. Oh, because, and then, so it's like, it is so weird because for probably longer than most people I had my childhood home.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, all of that, it was true with me when my mom died, It was still the house I grew up in, and it's weird that it's sitting there without them in it, Well,
the house now, it was sold, right?
We sold it after she died about a year.
Do you ever drove by there? Or,
of course.
And that's a house you lived in for how long?
We moved there when I was 10, from about 5 blocks away.
Wow. It's so, I always had weird experiences going home from like the first time I did go home once I was in California. So it was always, whatever the word would be, poignant, or it always was like, in other words, if I had not left New York, I wouldn't have had every time I went back to New York that, oh, there's the grade school I went to. So
right.
It's always been a bizarre feeling, but like a deeply emotional feeling. And so now, it's like, it's weird. It's just a weird thing. I'm like, even the fact that I know I probably can't go back into it for a few months because of the COVID thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part, even though, I was talking to another friend today whose mother is about to go into hospice, and it's like, he can't go, but, and his mom's okay with that. She's got things taken care of, but it's still just like, even though it's a horrible trip, it's still a gig,
That's why I'll say it. I said it once. I'll say it a million times. I'll say it forever. It was a miracle however you want to look at a miracle, it's like I never saw Jesus do anything personally, but it's miraculous the way it all happened. If it happened a few days later, I would not have seen my mother and my sister. And I think part of the thing is that was such an amazing experience that, not that it's going to make me not grieve, but I know for my brother it was so important that we all got together.
Well, you got at least some kind of closure. That's
right.
That's hugely important, especially since you can't go back there. Right now.
And that, I think everybody is dealing with that. But like when my sister's funeral, and Carl, my sister's husband, he really wasn't. When they had the funeral, there were people who came there, and he wasn't wearing a mask or anything. So it's like, we're kind of worried about him. It's like, I think the weird thing about this is that because of Trump and because of the way he dealt with it, there are still a lot of people who are like, what the hell's going on? Is this a thing?
Right.
But mostly like my aunt can't go see I think my mother got buried today, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Jewish thing because she's Quaker, but nobody went to this, wherever it would happen today.
Right. My
Aunt Charlotte can't go. They literally can't, unless they, you want to start turning it into a Dateline or something.
Right.
I started thinking about that. It's like, we can't have lunch with Josh Mankiewicz?
No, not for a while.
I mean, it's like, this is the kind of thing where, I guess if you have a death like I had, like you kind of are like in shock or something. But now that I'm realizing our lives really, really are, this is a red letter day or whatever.
We are mid-history right now. Yeah,
we're mid-history because I know you know these things, but I didn't know that that a bug was a. What was it I didn't know? They were animals.
Are insects animals? I think was yeah.
Yeah, but I did not understand.
I think it might have started with birds. Are birds animals?
Yeah, that's it. That was the first hilarious chicken of the sea moment. That there's no. I didn't realize it because I don't really understand. I don't think about viruses. Never normally do. I never read that Love in the Time of Cholera. I didn't quite understand that we have no immunity to it in the population,
right? And
so that either they're going to have to get a vaccine first, and if they're not going to get a vaccine first, then I don't know what's going to happen. But a lot of people are going to have to get it or something.
A lot of people are going to have to get it, first off. And,
younger people, though, not us, right?
Right,
or
exactly.
You might be able.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's the problem, is that no one on Earth has immunity to this.
So when they say it's going down in China, like there's no new cases?
Yeah.
Won't there be new cases when someone says hello to someone else at the store?
That's kind of what we're waiting to find out,
I'm just concerned, Josh, because we're starting up again on Easter, according to Trump.
Right.
And I just want to, I'm just concerned. We got to get, this behind us before Easter.
I know.
I like the way he says the Farm Bill. Like, he's going to get certain parts of the country working or something. I don't really get he doesn't make as much sense as you seem to.
I read between the lines, Andy. You can't listen to what he's saying. You have to listen to...
Right. Whatever happened to that lady?
I don't know.
They don't take them... So I got to tell you something, though, before I forget. I was watching Dial M for Murder, which I don't know if it was one of our assigned movies, but it was a very fun movie. It was a good movie. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I don't have much recall of it, but I have seen
it. You shouldn't. Unless, Robert Cummings was in it. But at one point... Before he introduces it, Ben Mankiewicz says, this movie was like a Dateline, and by like a Dateline hosted by my favorite reporter, Keith. What's the name?
Keith Morrison.
Keith Morrison. He goes, yeah, my favorite reporter, Keith Morrison. He goes, I never get tired of that joke. Those guys kill me.
Yeah.
Now I'm assuming I'm good friends with Ben now.
Sure, I'm sure you're part of the family now.
But we can't go. When are we going to be able, you, me, and Joel, to go out to a Langer's or a... When do I think that you have special knowledge?
I think we probably could by the end of May.
Whoa. But
I don't think you'll feel comfortable till the end of June.
June? Like June?
June.
Another June joke. So... I don't think I'm doing that well. I don't know if you asked me that, but I don't think I'm doing that well. But I don't think I'm doing... I can't tell how badly I'm doing because everyone's doing poorly.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I can only tell you how it feels like you're doing. And
how does it feel?
It feels like you're doing pretty good, considering, I have to say.
I'm glad that... See, here's the thing. Like I was noticing tonight. Oh, I can almost be late without leaving my house. Oh, this late thing may have something, this might have to do with my overall condition. And I realize, though, that a lot of times I'll be, you've seen me, well, certainly in the early times when you'd see me come to your house for the podcast, you go, oh my God, you're letting in a whole bunch of mannerisms, nervous tics,
right,
avoidance mechanisms. But tonight, I actually felt like I needed to do it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted, like it's like a way of reaching. I mean, like how much I miss us talking. Yeah. You know?
Well, that's nice. That's good.
It is good.
I'm glad you feel that way on episode 150, ladies and gentlemen. 150.
See? And maybe I can't see what's happening outside of your porch, so I can't make a comment of it.
I'm not there. I'm in my office.
Oh. Listen to that. That's part of my personality. To me, that's a little bit of I have ice cream. Who would react that way? Oh, you're in your office.
I thought to me, I was hearing a paradigm shift in your head. Like you.
Well, there was partly because I was thinking of the different three places. My least favorite place to do the podcast is the living room.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't sit well.
You're telling me.
No, that's solid. That's some solid comedy. Doesn't it sound exhausting to do a stand-up show from your home, though? Like
it really does. It does.
Because I feel like, I don't know how you feel like, I'm already home. I've already avoided the stand-up.
Yeah. It seems like you could pretty much just get a T-shirt that says needy and just sit there silently in front of a webcam.
But this might be where it's all going. Now, I have to ask you how you are doing and how Allison is doing and how everything is on your end with the COVID-19.
Well, we have no evidence of any viral intrusion into the home yet. We're doing, honestly, we're doing just fine. I'm doing a lot of cooking, and Allison and I like each other, which is really fortunate, and it's not shockingly different from our regular lifestyle.
That's
except
the thing. I really believe, not that you thrive in this atmosphere, but you might be better suited than most human beings I know because you enjoy cooking. You like to spend time with yourself, and in other words, I might be coming to your house when all the supplies go.
Yeah. No, it's things have gone okay in terms of keeping shit around, and I got lucky in a couple of things early on, and so it's it hasn't been horrible. I mean, I'm bored as hell, and I had actual work I had to do last week, and it was so hard to buckle down to do.
What did you have to do?
I just had to do some writing for I had to write like some stuff for the doc, like for promotional stuff and like metadata and things like that. a synopsis of the movie and things like that. And
that would be. I could see that that would be hard.
Yeah, it was just really hard to buckle down. And
are you done?
Yeah, it's done. It's all good. And we're trying to get the movie out earlier now because everyone's home. So it would be nice.
Josh, I hope this hasn't thrown the schedule off of the sequels to The Fiddling Horse.
Yes, exactly.
Have we had to push it back?
Yeah, the horse.
That was supposed to be in the can by now.
The horse is in isolation now.
Hey, by the way, we couldn't have picked a less popular topic: horse racing. People hate horse racing like poison now.
Yeah.
Because all the horses seem to be dying from it.
Well, that's why this was set in 1995, though, or 96.
Different. So that's how we got
people loved horse racing back then. Sport of kings, baby.
Excuse me.
Bless
Every
you.
couple of weeks, someone will ask me, how's the fiddling horse doing? And for some reason I get depressed. Why am I should be not depressed. I had a great time doing it. Oh, I think it's because I'm something they want me to say, oh, it's going to be in theaters and you can see it at the AMC 7.
Right.
They don't want to hear me say you can get it on Netflix eventually.
Right. In a best case scenario. But CJ did post the other day that CJ did post the other day that Blu-rays are getting printed and he has some sort of upcoming release plan, but he was not more specific than that.
Well, that's kind of exciting. I don't know. I like Blu-ray. I like the way it sounds.
He's a good guy.
Of course he's good. I hope I haven't said anything that has endangered my future.
No, I meant Blu-ray.
Now, I will admit that I overlapped at that. I will admit that I overlapped. I forced myself to laugh, but then I still enjoyed it.
Fair enough.
Well, I guess I'm cured then. I'm cured of the world's record. I know it's not a world's record that 2 people died in 10 days.
No. There have been wars and stuff. There's actually a death tally on the screen of your TV if you turn it on. So, but that's not to minimize what you're going through because it's heavy shit.
I know, but there is. What is it? What is the human part that is like? Nobody. This is the worst thing that's happened. No, but that's happened to me. Why are people not over here sobbing?
Well,
maybe that's just me. Is that just me?
No, I mean all of that is natural, and it's a fucking weird time when you do want people's attention and love and things, and you can't really get it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Sorry, Andy. My husband is in ICU on a ventilator.
That's why I forward you all the nice emails from this week.
That was very nice. From the nice people.
From the nice people sending you the nice emails.
You know, before I started to go spiral down, spiral is a good word. We should use that word more.
Let's figure out how to work it into our thing.
But before I spiraled down, I was like, I'm going to find the recordings of my sister and I singing these songs that I love. And I will do that for this week's break. And then I realized I did not have any of these things. There are reel-to-reel tape recorders.
Yeah.
They're in my attic at home in Queens.
All right, so we'll be getting those soon.
Well, I do want to. I do have a desire to do things like I definitely want to do a memorial for my sister. So I hope I don't drop the ball. I don't think I'll drop the ball.
I don't think you will. You're not going to forget.
What was I supposed to do again?
Right.
Who passed away my sister, that's right. I have my sister's husband a couple of times, and that was very helpful. And I also want to tell people, not that people are asking for advice, but you really cannot make a mistake whether you call or you don't call. Like my agent from the East Coast call, oh, sorry you didn't call sooner. It's like, it does not matter when you do it or what you do.
Right.
I'm saying for me.
Right.
As a grieving person.
No, I mean, anyone who reaches out right away is in a classy category, I think.
Right. But it's also understandable that people are a little bit, like, hesitant to. And Jen Kirkman did something that I would suggest. It could be the new. I don't know. I'm not saying it's the new trend, but she texted me a voice message.
Yeah,
it was very nice. That was nice.
That's a perfect I've got ice cream move.
Oh, that's right. That will eventually. That's right. If I do that too,
that's one level. That's one level safer than voicemail.
You know what's so interesting though is didn't you forget that there's an election, and I mean everything is nothing is the world. Welcome to the new whatever they say, hacky, but with the new reality, it's like it's kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm not good with words, but it's.
Well, I mean, this is real front burner shit.
That's right.
You know,
this is not your father's coronavirus, unique coronavirus. Why do they call it the unique coronavirus? The unique coronavirus. Oh, I did hear on the radio today, in case someone you need to know or whatever. I guess MERS and SARS were hard to catch. That's the problem with this virus, is it's easy to transmit.
Yeah, and highly sticky, apparently, to surfaces.
I hate when they say that. I mean, I don't hate when they say that, but when they say that, it makes you think, oh, it really can stick to like metal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. So have you been going out at all? What have you done? Like walk? You can't walk, but have you gone to Pilates?
No, that finally shut down last week. Let's see. Well, we haven't seen each other since the actual shutdown, have we, or did we?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Well, you may have, except to drop food.
Right, that's true. I bought you those ribs. How were the ribs? Were they good?
Oh, and Susan loved the ribs. Those are beef ribs. I'm not stupid, right?
No, those are pork ribs.
Oh, they're pork ribs. Okay. I don't know. I can't understand what I'm eating. But they were meaty. They were meaty pork ribs.
Yes, they were.
They were delicious. Good. And Susan loved them.
Excellent.
Do you think it means I'm bad at identifying meat, or I'm bad at
in
my
this
taste
case,
buds?
In this case, yes, you were bad.
Oh, come on, don't say that.
I don't know if
that's. You have to for the next spot.
It doesn't seem to be a general problem you have.
You said you were going to Mike Pence me for the foreseeable future.
Only on jokes.
Well, I do see. I hope to God, though. Don't you hope to God that with 2 deaths, that I really will now have learned my Twitter addiction lesson. That's what I'm hoping. I feel like a different person in terms of, like, when I look at these things where people are, Bernie's this and that. It seems like a different world.
It really does, yeah. And this past week, I'm starting to really kind of meter it out in terms of both how much time I spend watching news and how much time I'm on Twitter, and I'm really trying to do. I mean, this week I'm just trying to kind of take off and prep myself to start working again next week and get some actual creative work done. But this week I'm just kind of trying to charge my soul up a little bit and watching movies and, alternating between new, I won't watch more than an hour straight of news. I'll turn it off and watch something else, or turn it off entirely. It's so
poisonous if you don't limit it. And I have to say that I am, the fact that I don't want to do anything, I feel kind of paralyzed like I normally do.
Right.
It means that I'm more likely to go to I watch The Windsors on Netflix. Really have been watching some, got to get away.
I'm trying to do, just sort of my own spiritual clock, I guess, is, realize that this is a long haul that we're in for. It's not just going to be another 3 weeks. I think it's going to be another couple months of stay-at-home-ish behavior.
Right.
And just stop pretending like things are urgent, and like try to actually live within what's going on in my world, which is no one's coming to ask me for anything right now. So I can kind of create my own space.
Right.
And that means like, don't act like you don't have time to do shit, like yesterday I spent a good half hour making a sandwich for myself just because what the fuck? I have time to make a really excellent sandwich.
It's so important what you're saying. I mean, it is so much the secret. It's like if you listen to any of those people talk about Buddhism or Zen Buddhism, it really is. Or who's the guy who Warren Zevon who said enjoy every sandwich. It's like it really is true. And I learned that in therapy before this, that me rushing around worrying that I'm going to be broke, worrying it wasn't, and rushing through everything, it wasn't helping anything. It wasn't making things go away or making them even get done.
Right.
Anymore.
And I've even and in some ways, I mean, I'm and I was fairly stressed. I mean, I'm still stressed, but I was fairly stressed about, just what's going on this year in my quote-unquote career and all that. Obviously, all that's out the window now because for the next 4 months, there's nothing I can control is kind of how I'm looking at it.
Well, that is absolutely true. And the thing is
I can control my little tiny world inside this house. That's all I can control. And so I'm trying to be as mindful about that as I can.
I think that's so great because that's like Susan and I decided the same thing. I mean, you've been over to this house, but we still haven't gotten the office together. And like, I say to myself, I have to clean out that storage room that I'm paying for. It's like there's so many things I could do right now. For example, I can the fact that the taxes have been I can now do my 2018 taxes. I mean, it's like I was like, where am I going to get this money from? Well, if I did my taxes, I'm going to get a lot of money.
Right.
So it's like this idea of the panic of, well, what are we going to do? First you go, well, seems like the amount of toilet paper is stabilizing.
Right.
It's like you can address these things, but there's so, like getting the digital version. I know you don't believe it's going to happen, but now it's going to happen. The digital version of that album will come out.
Right.
And also doing this. I mean, I know that it's not, it's not paying the bills, but who cares? I mean, we never got into it for paying the bills, but we both secretly hoped that we would be making $7 million a year, like murder mystery people.
Right.
But that's not why we started. We started it as a creative thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
and eventually we'll get there.
Well, what you mean
to a creative thing? I mean,
wait a minute. I did listen to you introducing the week that we missed it. It's finally happened and we missed an episode.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I listen, and I don't listen a lot. I know I should, maybe not, or a lot. But every time I listen, I go, this is not bad. I would listen to these. I don't know if I would listen to us.
Yeah.
Religiously. You can't listen to yourself religiously, but it's like, it made me happy.
Good. And
I think we win. We win. The less you can see people in person, the more festivals that are canceled. That's when we move in online, right?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
You do know. You know that I sound crazy.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm saying I actually am. It's like this is a thing that, in fact, I guess I'm saying I feel blessed. I hate to say these words because people get nervous, but I feel blessed that I have. If you had said to me, Andy, there's going to be a pandemic, but you will feel better about it because you'll have your podcast that you'll be able to do, I wouldn't have even known what you were talking about several years ago. So,
sure.
So now I actually can feel that as a real thing. And it's like, it's such an interesting time period now because podcasts kind of exploded out of people's need to, I don't know. What would you say that's? What do you think the audio as opposed to the video is a separate muscle about listening to radio or listening to people's voices? Separate. It's a different thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wish I read more. But I don't have the energy to read it. Although I'm almost done with my Hitler in Los Angeles book.
Your Hitler in Los Angeles book?
Yeah, Hitler. The Nazis were going to try and take over America from the inside. So there were these Jews who were against here. So, but there were big marches in Los Angeles, Nazi rallies and things.
Yeah. Like the one in New York at Madison Square Garden?
That's right. That's the Madison Square Garden. But I bought the book thinking that I didn't really think he was in Los Angeles, but that's the name of the book.
Ah.
But other than that, unless it's a Nazi thing, it's hard for me to read. How much reading do you do?
I don't do a ton of reading. I've been sort of chipping away at the Keith Richards very fat biography for a while. But
how about book on tape?
Really digging it.
It's really good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, cool. I started it but couldn't get through it.
Yeah, I'm digging it. But I don't know. I've been watching some stuff. I watched... I'm doing my free Disney Plus trial right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually pull the trigger and subscribe, but I just watched The Mandalorian the other day. And
what is The Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian is a series that Jon Favreau did. It's a Star Wars TV series, essentially. It's a Western.
Oh.
It's like a Western. It's about a bounty hunter. And
now, when he does it better than the Family Guy does when he does westerns, right?
Yes, he does. Yes.
I was hoping that the death of loved ones would reduce my anger and grudges and things.
I wouldn't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because now I'm not saying that your mother and sister weren't perfect, but all those grudges just went away. So now, look at all that deck space you cleared.
I swear to God, this one guy, I won't say his name, but this one guy who I had a terrible falling out with, I thought about not calling him up or something, but just sending him an email going, "My mother's dead. Are you happy now?" Something like that. It's just a fantasy. I have these fantasies, but at least I know that they're not abnormal now. They're just thoughts that go through your mind.
Right, exactly.
But there's a thing like, yeah, so my mother's dead from Parkinson's now. You happy about the way you mocked Quakerism?
You bigot.
She had Parkinson's, saying, and she died. She believed in God, saying. Why would the Evergy guy be like that?
I'm not sure.
Did you know Evergy Robinson was he was liberal? He was very progressive.
Yes.
That's in my Hitler in Los Angeles book.
Yeah, he wasn't his image.
He wasn't like, I hate the Jews, see?
Right. Yeah.
I'm on top of the world, Jew. But did you know, you knew this, but I didn't realize this. I mean, I did realize it, but I'm learning from different sources that there were a lot of Jews who they didn't want to, they kind of wanted to play ball with Germany in terms of they didn't want to lose that market, and they didn't want to act too Jewish. There were so many, like all those guys who came over here, Louis B. Mayer and those, they tried to hide their Judaism.
Well, yeah, that was the ethos of that first wave of Eastern European Jews, right, was just assimilate as quick as you can.
So I realized that the joke I did before I even had knowledge of reading these things, which was back in Hitler's Germany, I would have played the Jew in Nazi propaganda films. Someone's got to play the Jew. Right. So I do think, would I have been one of these Jews who would cast British and write Yiddish, or would I be more like would I be John Stewart? He didn't run away. What was his reason for changing his name? Just didn't have a good ring.
I think he hated his father.
Oh,
was part of it.
Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
But certainly he didn't change it to John Morgenstein or...
No, but who does? I'm the only Jew who put a finer point on his Jewish name when he changed it.
But I find that to be, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I understand the idea that you'd say, well, look, if I can hide being a Jew, I'll hide being a Jew. If the Nazis, I'm going to be in the attic like Anne Frank.
There's both anti-Semitism and then there's the self-loathing aspect, too, that Jews have.
Right, which comes from the anti-Semitism, right? I think so,
but, some of it's fear, some of it has probably just become actual self-loathing at this point. It's even in me. I remember, I'm sure I've told you this story. I say that for the audience's benefit, not for yours, because I'm sure it'll be fresh to you. That, like when Allison and I got married, she was ready to change her name to Weinstein, which I never even thought it never occurred to me. And then when she said it, I was very flattered. And then, but I was like, but you're not for your singing. And she's like, yeah. Like, why would? And my mom was alive at the time. We were both like, why would you do that? Why would you change your showbiz name to something Jewish? Why would that?
That's so great. That's so. She was ready to be the Spirit in the Sky guy.
She was, yeah, absolutely. Norman Greenbaum.
Yeah, she was ready to go that route.
Yeah.
It's so. Now, when you were saying that, were you aware of that's part of the anti-Semitism would make you be? I mean, or did you?
Yeah, no, it was
right?
totally based in. I know for a fact that people are anti-Semitic. Why would you add something to your name that would only alienate you from a certain percentage of people if you don't have to?
You don't have to. Yeah. But it's hard when you're black to hide.
It's true.
So, I don't know why I felt like I was making a really deep statement there. But now that it's over, yeah. I realize, oh boy, it was not a deep statement.
That's right. So what have you, I mean, how is your tragedy aside, how is it just the nuts and bolts of quarantine living been for you guys?
It has been, I can't separate it yet because I feel as if I'm still, I'm talking to my brother about wills and things like this, and I still feel like I'm in that grieving mode, but I always thought that I would love to be quarantined. I would love to be quarantined because I don't return calls enough. So this way I can reach out to all my friends. I was always scared. Well, if I call someone, does that mean I have to go see them today? Now I can't see them.
All right.
So that I'm hoping it'll help me to reach out to people more.
Yeah.
That's a bad reason. But I used to spend more time on the phone years ago. I did like the phone. I did like that intimacy that you don't have with texts and things.
Yeah, well, it was the only game in town, though.
That's true. Absolutely. And I hated the phone, too, but it was the only game in town.
Right.
But I feel optimistic about, because I really do feel that there are things I need to face that I just need to do. And that's just taxes. And instead of finding a million excuses or beating myself up, I think it's going to help me focus. But I don't think it's going to be helpful. I don't know. I kind of I think it's it could be a great vacation. Me and the wife putting the house together. But I know that I know that I'm not going to stick with. I don't know. Aren't you glad you asked?
I am. I really am. Well, I got to say, for you, one day at a time seems to be the way to go.
Right. And the thing is that, like, when I was walking away from my sister, I hope I'm not repeating myself, but she has a ramp going from her front door to the street because she couldn't walk that well.
Yeah.
And I remember as I was walking down the ramp, I was like, I should look back at her because I might not see her again. So there are these things where my mind wants me to open up this can of should have spent more time, should have done this.
Right.
But there's something else that's like, stop it. I guess being healthier therapy-wise and as a person is making me not go down that road. And it's making me more just like reflective in general of my life. And I think that's going to maybe get, more intense. But there were so many dynamics within the family that, like, sometimes, like, my sister could be hard. She could be very angry at times. And I mean, we really got along great. But there would be times where I would think, it would be hard to talk to each other. And so I keep saying, why was that happening? In other words, I wish that hadn't been happening. Like, I wish there had never been any friction but all of that, like what my therapist tells me is like, the relationship you have with your sister, the sister's love that she gave me when she was 5 years old when I was born, right. I was her little brother.
Right.
And that's a different dynamic than other relations. I never thought about that. Like, it just is different.
Sure.
Because she was kind of my mom in a lot of ways, and she looked out after me. And so when I would feel weird things about the relationship it's like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in me now without judging everything. And so when you get past I wish I could have spent more time, and it makes me more like just think of the whole dynamic, I guess, reflectively, which I think is good.
I think it is too. I mean, as long as you're not turning it on yourself, anything, all of those things are healthy as far as I'm concerned, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, as long as, because you're going to feel everything, And I mean, in my experiences, at least, is you can't really control the spigot for a while.
Right. Right.
And, and to me, mourning is really that is just, it's not so much getting over something as it is getting a filing system for it that you just don't have yet, but
that makes sense.
Eventually you find a place for it in the sort of bigger life story, of you, but in the meantime, it's right there in your face, and you can't control, like I said, you can't control the spigot of what you're going to feel, but eventually you will,
Yeah. And just the whole thing about, when you worry, there's a part of me that's like, I saw people getting older, and I assumed that as you got older, you're just starting to go, well, I'm closer to death. This isn't good. Right. You know what I mean? But that's really not true. Like, I know I'm not going to live forever. I know I could die at any time. But I do feel like more myself now in terms of, okay, I want to do something creative, but I don't feel, we've talked about this before, but not having that burning ambition, I've got to do this or I have to be here. I just kind of really do want to be happy, so I know that I'm going to get older, but I don't know when I'm going to go, and I don't know, and it doesn't make, it's, in other words, it's not like a movie.
Right.
The rise and fall of the true Hollywood story. It's like, sometimes I forget that things aren't like movies, or I forget that things don't have to end, I guess, poorly.
Well, that's true, and I also think there's this thing that when people die, there's this desire, and I don't think you're doing this at all, but I think there is generally a desire to be dramatically correct.
That's true, yeah.
You know what I mean? That. And that's why people get uncomfortable when you're making jokes, and that's why, because that's not dramatically correct to them.
Right,
right. But you can only feel what you feel, and faking a feeling just because it seems like that's what you're supposed to do doesn't seem like a productive thing to me either, Well,
also, my mother was, and I hope she's not listening.
More of a chance than before.
That joke pays off finally.
Yes.
My mother was very narcissistic. It's like my mother was so narcissistic, and I thank God and that I had therapy, and I have Susan, and I have you, and I have a life that makes me able to then say the answer is not to hate yourself when you see the narcissism that's in your family,
Right.
But noticing it is noticing it and realizing it and seeing what you do is a way for you to not overcome it, but get in a way overcome it, because it's just like me being able to realize that my behavior, whether it was with that Hassan, I think back to that argument with that Hassan guy. To me, when that was going on, that was worse than anybody dying at the time.
Right.
It was like it was a fight of the soul for me at that moment.
Yeah.
And you realize it's like where you place your importance and all of these things is so elusive,
Well, it is, and the things that prompt primal responses,
Right.
Like
right.
that. I mean, that's how you get on Twitter in those modes, is this, fight or fight response.
And it's really in my family. There's everybody in my family at one time or another will say, "Go fuck yourself. I can't take it anymore. And you get the hell out of here." And it's like, I'm not like, my sister could get very angry. I don't love her less than because she did get so angry, but I do see for myself, if you take out the self-sabotage or you really are self-sabotage, if you just look at it truthfully, you do see that guy was not my father. So it's
right.
Like those things are very important lessons, because they really are a way out of the rage. Because if the rage really is, and it's so amazing to me, how stupid am I that I have to how stupid do I have to be that I didn't realize that people calling me stupid was a trigger? but not knowing that that's what it was, not knowing that then you're just a crazy person. Then you're just a yelling person, yelling. And it's like, I think my family, we had that in our family. And I think the growth is to allow yourself to have all these extreme feelings, but not feel like the only way to get what you want in life is to yell or to scream or.
Right.
And my sister, I don't think there's a more amazing person I can think of, because she told me like about a year ago, I think I'm going to write to people, because nobody seems to understand what my day is like. And now that she's gone, and I see like the thing that she went through, which she died from, her heart giving out or whatever, but the pains that she went through, the years that she was in the hospital for months at a time with the bleeding,
right,
it was unbelievable. I mean, it just was really wore her out. Of course she was angry,
right.
And so I'm just amazed at what kind of person she was, and her ability to love people, and just amazing. And I feel so lucky that my brother and I have survived all of these things, and we're close. And
yeah, that's a blessing.
That is such a blessing.
And you will only get closer,
We are closer, for sure. And of course, like my brother, I don't know if I ever talked about this in the podcast, but we agreed not to talk about politics. Did I bring that up?
I don't know if I can't remember.
Oh, okay, well, we just agreed. I agree through therapists. I can't argue with you about politics because I would just get so upset. And of course, he became my father. He was maybe the first person who became my father.
Right.
And it's not even my. And for those people, any friends of my father listen, it's not even the thing that's amazing about life is like, it's not even my father. It's not even, that's not even real. the person who made me feel stupid, they weren't trying to make me feel stupid. You know, he was doing the best that he could. He was going through his own things. But it's about you realize what you did to yourself, and then you can forgive everybody. You know, then you don't have
his insecurities caused your insecurities ultimately.
Right. And so I think I fooled myself for a long time that, like, oh, I know I'm smart. Oh, I know I'm smart. Well, that is partially true.
Right.
But I emotionally thought I was stupid when I would argue with my dad.
Right.
And I didn't understand the family dynamic, that he was like being a little bit like a father, like being too, whatever it was. I didn't realize the dynamic. All I realized when I was going through it was like, this feels bad. I'm stupid.
Right.
So that's behind all those arguments with those horrible Islamophobic people was, they're right. They're telling me that all religion is stupid, and you're stupid, and stupid. So it's like, if you go through your whole life not realizing what's causing you pain, I guess that's what Trump does, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Do you think he realized? Well, it doesn't matter, I guess, whether he does realize it down deep.
I don't know what level of self-awareness he's capable of.
He really thinks he is stupid, though. His father must have been.
Oh God, yeah.
Really, like a living monster.
Yeah, and his mother too, I think.
Yeah, I never hear much about his mother.
No.
Are those the people who are behind him in his Oval Office or whatever the hell? I see pictures back there sometimes.
I don't know. Look up a picture of Trump's parents sometime. It's quite a sight.
He's got the mustache. Yeah, I know
he's got the mustache, but the mom has the crazy, weird comb-over hair. And she looks mean. Real mean. All right,
I really do hope I could wake up from this like it really isn't happening. The Trump thing, more than anything, where you wake up and you go, oh, that was a dream. I really do hope.
Yeah.
It has been all a dream.
Yeah, I think it is, Andy.
And I'll wake up and I'll be married to the person from Bob Newhart show.
Exactly. Phil Daly. Hey, do you want to do some questions?
Sure. Thank you for writing in, everybody. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do, I don't know how you feel, but I haven't been able to do my hilarious 65 degrees downtown Los Angeles. Have you missed it, Josh?
You actually sound like you're on the radio when you do that now from here. So.
Oh, so I perfected it.
Yes.
I finally found the...
Television Savalas wanted us to revisit the Dennis Miller tweet from the other day, which was, the young Jedi B team, that is the White House press corps, have now been Groupon comp lifted back to their real jobs, being overly astounded by new tailgate kick plates in unctuous Chevy truck commercials. Wow.
Could you make the argument that there's a logic to that? There is a logic to what he's saying.
The logic is that Dennis is writing jokes with those refrigerator magnet words now.
Someone brought that. I forgot who. Oh, I think it was it Television Savalas who brought it to my attention.
I think so.
Originally, I mean, it is. That is. First of all, I love that he used the word unctuous.
Yes. He loves it too.
He does he though, or is this like a sign? Could this be his comedic death rattle?
I don't think it is.
Oh no.
No, this is actually. I mean, his comedic death rattle was like in 2003, and now this is his comedic afterlife. I think.
Ugh, what a horrible man.
Benjamin Earhart
is fun.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
No, it's fun. It's fun to read it though.
Yeah. Benjamin Earhart says,
you want to say, yeah.
Will you stop cutting me off now?
No, but you know what? If I was in the room with you and I was looking, and I'm always looking for a disapproving look.
I know.
To confirm my own feelings about myself. It's harder now. You have to give me one extra second.
I'm going to send you a picture to look at for next week. Benjamin Earhart says, here in Thailand a few minutes ago, my wife had some soup for dinner, and I saw her drinking a lot of water with it, and I asked her, is it spicy? And she said, very.
Now, the thing that would be good is if his wife was not aware of the show.
Yes.
Because then you could.
I get the feeling that's the case.
Why would I think otherwise? Of course, I know his wife's a big fan.
Right. Not Tweet Bahara says Seinfeld has a new comedians in their own cars parked in their own driveways talking to each other on Skype with coffee.
He may have to be on our staff.
If you want, sure.
I'm staffing up for this.
I don't know if you'll think that after this next one of his.
Okay.
Where he says, Andy zagged when we were expecting a zig. How'd you get your sister or mom to go along with it? That's dedication to a bit.
I enjoyed that because it's so wrong.
Okay, good. Seth Dick III says, I must say I love the idea of Ben Lee as a fan of Thought Spiral. Me too. Hi, Ben Lee.
Hi, Ben Lee. And Ben Lee, if he wanted, I can't. If Ben Lee wants to come over, right? Ben Lee comes over to the house.
Yes.
I know. That's not going to make it happen.
One of those online Corona concerts.
Yes, I loved when we were all bantering together. That was fantastic.
Yes. Dan Marsh says, hey, fellas, congrats on the big 150. When things were a bit raw and uncomfortable in the first few episodes, did either of you think the podcast would make it this long?
I did not think it was going to last. Because I think I've had experience before. I think I do a generally okay job of not, just like being so negative that I'm going to reject something. I wanted it to go on.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have said I didn't know that it was going to go on. What about you? What did you think?
I had no real sense of when it would end or if it would, I didn't have a sense either way, honestly. I didn't know that you would have the level of dedication that you have.
Well, that's interesting because I also think that did it coincide with me getting into therapy?
It did. It was soon after, and after you were getting over your father's death.
Yeah, so I really think that would create an opportunity for me. And if you think about it, I still remember being so mad like on those, we had those fights early on.
Yeah.
So I can't, if anybody says, boy, Andy, you really have come a long way. I mean, I still think I've got a long way to go. But
I think
would you
the audience can absolutely attest that your growth rate has been pretty apparent during 3 years of this.
Yeah. How about you though? Have you taken it to the next level? Why should you?
Well, no. I mean, I think it's been good for me. I mean, I think I've definitely said things out loud that may not have been examined, otherwise. Right. But no, I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed that. We have, people that are listening and give a shit. And
I think we both also feel like
I like our listeners who give us the energy back.
That's true. That's true. But we're never going to we don't want to get to the point where we're like, let me tell you something about the J. Elvis that I know who does the children's hospitals and that. We don't want to get like Jerry Lewis and Frank Sinatra at a benefit.
No, I don't think we're in danger of that yet.
Yeah, but did Jerry Lewis, I guess you could argue he was always the way he was, right? He didn't get that way when he got old, but he was always full of himself. He was always...
Yeah, I think so.
A crazy man.
Yeah.
I think Dean is the more talented one, if you ask me. But people didn't think Dean was more talented.
Right.
Even though I kept saying Dean's the talented one.
But if I were him, I would have gotten so tired of everyone going, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
Even though he was actually more, in many ways, he was the funnier one. Right. But people didn't think he was funnier one. They go, Jerry, why are you with Dean? Can you imagine what kind of a lunatic Dean must have thought he was?
Yeah, just a monster monkey.
Hey, pal. Hey, Polly. Hey, Polly.
Hey, Jerry, go fuck yourself.
Hey, Jerry, go fuck yourself. Margaret Lewis, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, another 30 people came up to me and said, hey, you're the funny one.
Now, get back into I can't think of one movie they did, but they did like 40,000 movies. Right?
Yeah, something like that. Ant says, will you consider doing a video version of the cast during these strange times? Seeing your lovely mugs would certainly brighten everyone's spirits. I don't think that's true, first of all. No, I don't want to do a video podcast. I like the power to edit seamlessly.
I did not. We both have experience with seeing how things look on the camera.
Yeah,
and we don't want it. We just don't want it.
That's too much. Mark Devo Devlin says, hello, friends, to the voices in my head. Who is your, well, if that guy can do it, mine is Andy Kindler. That's not an insult, and it doesn't pertain to any particular skill set. It's based on that we all know how his brain works, and yet he still gets some shit done. Admirable.
That is I think that's I take that as a very high compliment.
Good. I think he meant it that way.
Yes, because he's saying that if a panic person can overcome their panic to not have a career, but at least
right. Tom the says, Josh recently got Prime and watched I Need You to Kill. Loved the editing joke. Thank you very much. I'm still very proud of the editing joke.
Yeah, it was good. I remember it right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Carrie Whedon says, please stop calling yourself narcissists. Narcissists only care about themselves, and that's clearly not you guys. Being self-absorbed is something else entirely and much more forgivable. Re the end times. What do you think will happen if the internet goes down?
Is that a segue?
It was a second thing. Yeah, it was a new thought.
Well, let's put it this way. I wouldn't say you're self-absorbed. I'm self-absorbed.
Well, thank you.
So I don't think
I'm self-absorbed enough to appreciate you saying that.
Right. So I don't mean it that I have narcissistic personality disorder. I just know that I've seen my mother's the champion, and I've seen many competitors in my family.
Right.
And the family crest, as you know, as I've said a million times, it's a supposedly apocryphal story of someone saying to my grandmother, "Boy, I got to tell you, Blanche, I got the hernia, and I got the operation, and my gallbladder." And she goes, "Well, as long as you have your health."
Right.
And that's the story of my family.
So
we are champion narcissists.
Right.
But I think I know what you're saying. But I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other when you're identifying as something you'd like to avoid.
Right. The other thing is that narcissists know they're narcissists.
That's true. They do know that.
They do. I read a thing that said that you can taking a personality profile test with narcissists is just as effective percentage-wise to ask them if they're narcissists. Greg Kelly says Van and Wes love the show. Do you remember that those were our chosen replacement names last week? Van Kindler and Wes Weinstein.
How would I know that?
Because you were on the show with me.
Was it our show?
Yeah, it was based on a question someone asked. That's okay.
I like the way you almost use this as if I had dementia, I think you'd torture me. I think you would.
Maybe.
Oh, you don't remember what day is it? Oh, it's not that day, Andy. How do you feel now?
No, I don't think I would ask questions, though. I think I would try to feed you information. I would try to feed you a new reality.
That sounds more entertaining.
Yeah. If I'm going to be a jerk, why not have more fun? So Greg Kelly continues, if Zuzu could change her name, what would she choose?
Her name would be Clarence.
There you go.
Wouldn't she call herself Clarence?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, lady. Just proving to you that I do have some retention.
And pretension.
No. I'm only pretentious. I'm only pretentious because I'm so great. The joke doesn't work.
Seth Dick III says, this is your sesquicentennial show. Can we pretend Howard Cosell hosted a spelling bee and James Mason was given sesquicentennial as his word?
Yes, I'm all for it. Please spell the word is sesquicentennial.
You're Howard Cosell.
And now, for the when, your word is, what's the word again?
Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicent. Would you like me to use it in the sentence?
James? What is the country of origin?
I think it's British.
Could you use it?
I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. I'll use it in a sentence.
Use it in a sentence.
I bet you can't spell it. Sesquicentennial.
Are you still Howard Cosell? That's my first question.
To the extent that I'm able to do impressions, yes, James, I'm still. Because you know why? I just got back from the Republic of Domingo, where I saw Roberto Dobison from Peru.
You know, when I asked the country of origin, I was hoping you would say the Republic of Domingo, but you weren't quick enough.
Stops me from being a good improv sketch comedian.
All right, ML Mike says, last March I was driving home from work in the snow and ice around 1 a.m., and I swerved off the road while listening to The Thought Spiral. The calm voice of Josh and Andy crashing instantly calmed me down, and I made it out of the ditch safely. Thanks for the yucks.
Wow. That's pretty cool. In other words, he got into the ditch.
Yeah.
He heard our voices.
Right.
And that meant he didn't do what you're not supposed to go with it. What are you supposed to do? Don't go with it, or you go against it, or don't go.
You steer into the skid.
Into the skid.
Yeah, you steer into the skid.
I've done that with my career.
You've skidded into the turn.
That's exactly right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Sue
Vede says, I like that Andy laughs at my name every week.
I still think it's class. You know what? Because his name, it's like at a perfect temperature. It's as if it's cooked completely the same way all the way through.
All the way through. No question, but can I hear James Mason doing a bad De Niro taxi driver impression? I suppose I do have a question after all.
I like that he didn't try and bury it in some kind of back entrance way.
Are you asking me to do De Niro? Are you asking me? Are you asking me?
How's that? Can you do De Niro, please?
Are you talking to me? And scene.
That would have been a different movie.
It would have been.
James Mason.
That's true.
As Robert De Niro.
It might go a little something like this. Justin Faulkner says, Andy, so sorry to hear about the passing of your sister. My condolences to you and your family.
Well, thank you very much. And did people now know that I lost my mother, too?
They didn't.
Did they know it
They didn't know.
This show?
They'll circle back, I assure you.
Don't forget, everybody. I'm suffering more than most.
Cigar-shaped UFO says, I had a dream the coronavirus jokes were hysterical on Test Show 300.
I like everything about that, from his name to the question. That might have been my favorite of all time.
Beautiful. Mark Thompson says, Andy, Josh, just curious, any update on the Thought Spiral listeners cruise? It's still on, right? Looking forward to your sets every night, and the Boys from Brazil screening sounds like fun.
I don't know if I told you this. I was supposed to be... do you know my mother had Parkinson's?
I did not know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
I was supposed to do a Parkinson's walk thing in April for some friends here in L.A., and at the same time, they were going to be communicating with people in northern Italy who were going to be on a hike. This was before it all.
Wow.
It's been pushed back. Wow. So you couldn't predict a worse way. And then from Spain...
Right. We're getting it. We're starting up a teleconference on Zoom with Wuhan.
You sounded vaudevillian there.
I put some of that special Chinese mustard on the Wuhan.
I call it the Chinese virus. So what?
That's right.
Someone even said that they called it the Kung flu. He doesn't even make the guy is just, he's not. All right. That's all I got to say.
All right. Dan Wade says, happy Sesquint episode, guys. If you're looking for things to put behind the paywall, I would watch a video of Josh making chicken soup.
You would not. That's the thing. That's the thing that steams me.
Yeah.
If we went out to make a big shoot, that guy would not pay to see that.
I think that's true. I think you called his bluff.
I'm willing to try, though.
Yeah, all right. When I can have a cameraman in the house, we'll try to do it.
How about your other? Did you go to your other podcast?
No, I did a phoner with him.
No.
Larry Harold says, Andy, sorry to hear your news. Hang in there. Let's say when the U.S. reopens, you two have the time and money for a cross-country drive. What sites would you want to hit? Congrats on 150.
Wow. Well, I've done a cross-country drive once, so I wouldn't want to see the Grand Canyon and those things. I've never been to I hear it's nice up in Jackson Hole, and I've never been to the Redwood Forest one. I've been to Yosemite, but not the other one.
Yeah.
What's that other park called?
Well, there's the Muir Woods. And
what's the one near Jackson Hole, though?
That's Wyoming, Jackson Hole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, what would you like to see? Like, Vegas.
I don't know. I'm trying to... I mean, I've seen everything. I've been to almost every state. So,
right.
And driven across most of them. But there's a lot... I mean, there's a lot of national parks I have not been to. I would not choose to go to them with Andy, necessarily. But... but...
Why? Do you think I would be... I'd be spicing it? Is it too spicy the whole time?
I think it would be fun. It would be fun to do like a go to every baseball park trip or something.
Yeah, until the third baseball park.
Exactly. Then we just start finding restaurants.
Yeah, I want to. Susan has said we want to get a new car, and we do want to do a drive.
Yeah, Allison has not seen most of America, so I'd kind of like to do it through her eyes.
That was so funny the way you said that. Through her eyes.
80 Morgan says, happy sesquicentennial to you both. Given a 5th anniversary is wood, 20th porcelain, 75th diamond, what do you feel the 150th anniversary stuff is? How much of it is an appropriate gift? Well, it's certainly weed. And whatever you can get away with shipping to Andy's P.O. Box.
That's right. Now, first of all, I'm not familiar with that term. I think I have heard it before. 150.
Sesquicentennial?
Yeah. And it does feel like we should have done something to commemorate. I think we did do something to commemorate it. We actually conducted the...
We killed off half your family. How's that?
How's that? Now, don't take that out and isolate that quote.
All right. I won't. I'm not taking it out, but I will put my shame on it. Don't take it out. I'll put my shame on the record. Guy Incognito says, hope you guys are both taking care during this dumb old virus. Have either of you picked up new hobbies since the Trump virus has started?
No, it has made me want to look online for
death counts. I wasn't into that before.
You were into what?
I wasn't into death counts before.
Also, I'm more into simple division, like how many deaths goes into cases.
Right.
So I think is it like 5%?
I'm doing a lot more.
People die.
I'm doing a lot more nasal swabbing than I used to.
You know what I like to do? I've been really into collecting pictures of viruses. I love those pictures.
They're beautiful. They're like snowflakes, except they're all the same. I made cookies today.
Well, what kind of cookies did you make?
Just sugar cookies.
Have you? And baking is not something you do a lot of.
Not generally, no.
Man, everybody's going to want to be married to you.
Allison's on a good food ride right now for the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to make it, meals special just because life is so fucking boring. So,
have you physically shopped?
I've physically shopped a couple times, in the past 3 weeks.
What's it like over there?
I hear it's calmed down quite a bit. I haven't been for I think it'll be a week tomorrow.
Yeah. Bowling is not going to be popular now.
We got a delivery, a Ralph's delivery on Sunday that Allison had put in like 6 days earlier.
It happened to us too. That was a nice chunk of change, or were they out of a lot of stuff?
They were out of a lot of stuff.
Susan sent stuff to her sister, like she wanted to send stuff to her, and it was like sardines, paper towels, and they had nothing but the sardines.
Really?
Yeah. But not as good as stories I felt in my head.
Oh, well. See, this is where I'm Mike Pensing you. No, it was a good story, sir. Annotated MST says, Josh and Andy, no question this week, just a thanks for being my laugh generator in a time of uncertainty and strife. Between you and classic MST3K episodes, I think I'll survive. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I never did see that thing where you ate something. What did you eat in that picture?
Oh, that GIF was it was me doing a tongue puppet.
There's no other show that you could have done when you were young that would come back to you in so many incredible ways. There's got to be things you forgot you did.
Oh, for sure. I did a Twitch thing the other night where I went on MST's Twitch site and watched an episode with about 6,000 people showed up.
Cool.
And answered questions the whole time while the episode ran and stuff. So that was fun.
That is cool.
It was good MST. It was good fan revenge for me because they were talking to me so much I couldn't watch the movie.
Now you know what it's like when they're doing it.
Exactly. Casanova, formerly Frankenstein, now Casanova Quarenstein, says, would you guys and or the Spiralers be willing to email me your Thought Spiral-related music so I may use it for a non-monetized YouTube video slideshow tribute of all my past photo gags? If you email me and remind me, although you should probably ask the people who actually made the music more than us.
Right. But we're into it.
But in theory, yes. Stephen Elton Yates says...
Stephen! Hi, Stephen.
Says, no James Mason impression request, just thanks to both of you. Thought Spiral brings normalcy, friendship, and the promise that things will get better. That is priceless. Love to you both and all my fellow Spiralers.
Oh, that is very sweet. Although, part of me said, did we really promise things would get better?
No, we're just implying it with our hopefulness.
I'm glad that I could bring hope.
With our laughing at death and things like that.
I laugh in the face of death.
Jen Kirkman.
Jen Kirkman, I love you.
Says, have either of you watched The Devil Next Door on Netflix? And if so, do you believe that he was Ivan the Terrible?
Oh, I did watch that. And yeah, I think he was is there much... I did watch that. I don't think there's much controversy that he is Ivan the Terrible, right?
I think there's some. I'm not sure. Was this John Demaniuk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. I felt bad for the family that I always feel bad for the it's kind of not ridiculous, but I feel bad for his family because they didn't think he was Ivan the Terrible. First of all, calling himself, that was his big mistake. He never lost the moniker.
Right. Please call me Dad the Terrible.
Wait a second. You're not related to Ivan the Terrible.
No. I pronounce it differently. I pronounce it the Terrible.
That was referred to how bad a tailor I was. I was a famously bad tailor. Ivan the Terrible's suitsman. No, I think he was, and also he had some very strange reactions during the trial.
Did he?
Yeah, like a little bit, that's not how I would have looked. That's what I would think.
You would have spent a lot more time with the open hands going, what?
Imagine if he wasn't Ivan. Like, you know how I hold grudges? Imagine if he wasn't Ivan.
That's a grudge. Now, that's a good grudge.
A grudge.
Yeah. Well, if he wasn't Ivan the Terrible, he was Ivan up to something. Nadine's eye patch says, Andy, what are your top 5 Dead albums? Josh, what are your 5 favorite stand-up albums? And can you answer the questions with Andy as Greaseman and Josh as Peter Lorre? Wow, okay.
That's pretty good. Now, what's my job?
You're the Greaseman giving your Andy top 5 Grateful Dead albums.
What is the Greaseman? Sha-sha-sha-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-do-day. You like the Grateful Dead, you have to listen to Europe 72, Shaka Gang, Shaka Laga 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 Lang Lang. Then there's also I Like Working Men's Dead with the Greaseman. The Greaseman, shake it, big it, bang. The Greaseman likes the Working Man's Dead and American Beauty.
And I like
5, but I'm tired.
And I like Bill Cosby is a very funny fellow, right? Yes. And I like I Bill Hicks, Relentless. And yes, I like The Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart. And I like Inside Shelley Berman.
I don't know.
And the Dice Man goes to
Hawaii.
Kirk says, congrats on 150 test shows.
Cool.
Derek Faraci says, if you were cast on a Star Trek show, would you want to play a human or an alien? I would definitely go human, just because one of the things that was on that Mystery Science episode that I watched on Twitch the other night was the one creature makeup thing I ever did in show business. And it was like the true, 2.5 hours in the makeup chair thing. And it sucks.
Yeah.
So I would go human for sure. Even if I'm a red shirt that has to die.
I would go human too, and in fact, I think I've told you this. I'm friends with a friend of mine from the old days, Doug Jones, who was in Pan's Labyrinth, and he was in the Shape of Water. He plays all those. He does play those things where you're in those prosthetics for hours, and it's supposed to be the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, it's really unpleasant.
Yeah,
for everyone involved. It's not like putting it on people is that fun either.
And yet Jim Carrey, I bet he was the only one who probably loved it.
Oh, he loved it. He kept everyone in stitches. Sous Vide is back to say random artist association game, Harry Chapin. It was just after dark when the truck started down the hill that leads into Scranton, Pennsylvania, carrying 30,000 pounds of bananas. Yes, there were 30,000 pounds of bananas.
He would not have said that was his best work, right?
Probably not, but maybe.
Well, I always go back to my mom's, the classic Kindler story of 6 months after John Lennon died. My mother called up my sister and she said, "Is Andy okay about Harry Chapin?"
By the way, I think my Harry Chapin impression was pretty good for that quick spur of the moment.
That is not right. Well, first of all, you're a good, I told you you're a good impressionist.
Thanks.
Super Popular says, if a mousetrap means it's the last meal for the mouse, shouldn't the cheese be fancy? Explain.
Oh, interesting. I don't get that one. You'll have to explain.
Means is it crueler to put shitty cheese on a mousetrap since it's their last meal?
Well, mouse, very subjective. Mice, for example, prefer Velveeta. That's the best I could come up with.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is if they get to the cheese, that means they ain't eating the cheese.
Right. It's even crueler if it was fancy.
That might be. It might be more of a lure.
Now, I don't want to get Dita on my ass.
Well, then,
Do you?
Then don't sit down at a Mediterranean restaurant table, huh?
Cha-cha, ching-ching, choo-choo.
Michelle Weiscarver.
Hi, Michelle Weiscarver. I miss you.
Michelle says, just saying hi and hoping you fine gentlemen and your lovely ladies are still healthy and safe. Please take care. Heart emoji. Thanks so much for being so open about your grief, Andy. Wishing you peace and love.
Well, thank you.
Well, if you liked last week's grief, tune in again.
I hope I was able to top it this week. I didn't cry, though. That's the only thing.
No. Well, you didn't have to tell us that.
No, I mean now. I cried at home.
No, I know. I just mean, it's radio.
Who cares? That's right. Yeah, is my acting good?
Miss G says, hello, men. I thawed out some off-brand ground turkey that was sitting in my freezer for quite a while. I made meatloaf with it. It looks okay. Should I eat it? Yeah, I think you're good.
Oh.
I'm not thinking it'll taste good. I just don't think it's dangerous.
Well, it's not appetizing, but I would say if I would go with your instincts.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a crisis, for God's sake.
Yeah, you have to eat it.
Cole actually says, happy 150th. Just want to say I appreciate the convo last show. I think the appeal of Thought Spiral is you two and your genuine friendship. Also the relatability of a couple people just hashing life shit out. Oh yeah, and the funny that comes out of that shit. Well, thank you, Cole.
I like that. Thank you.
Will Pfeiffer says, no question, just sincere gratitude for making us laugh in these tense times. Hang in there, and thanks.
Thank you.
And M.
That's what I say.
And finally, our friend M. Ledsome says, I love you guys.
I love you, M, and I loved tease. I knew you were the first person who would see when I teased the episode. Because you're our European contingent.
Right. All right. Well, I think we've done it.
We did it.
I think. Do you want to try we were talking next week about maybe doing daily check-ins and putting so you won't. I think
it's great.
We'll try that. So next week's show, we're going to give you five shorter calls into one episode, and if that sucks, we'll go back to just the one.
You know us. We won't stick with something.
Exactly. We have no sense of commitment whatsoever, except for 150 shows.
Exactly.
I want to thank the people. There's been several people this week who have given us nice, large buy me a coffees. We appreciate that a great deal, and we appreciate everyone who gives us a buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral. We appreciate the financial support. If you want to support us on just a more free level, go to Apple Podcasts and give us a nice review and 5 stars. Andy's got an album coming out soon. I've got an album that's out called Chunks. I've got a movie coming out soon. Hopefully we have a movie that we co-starred in soon. It's all coming soon, people.
And I echo what you say, and I want to thank everybody who reached out to me during my family crises. It really means a lot. And that's not a good way to end, though.
No, but you are lovely people. Thank you for staying with us and giving us an extra little sense of purpose during this time. And yes. We appreciate it, and we love you all, and we hope you're safe, and we hope you're washing your hands. And we hope there's just as many of you here next week as this week.
Yeah, ditto.
Was that dark? I don't know.
I don't know. It's good.
All right, Andy. I will talk to you soon. I love you.
Cool.
I'm sorry.
I love you, man.
I'm sorry this has been such a shitstorm of a time for you, man.
Well, I appreciate you being there, and I'm so glad we did this. And let me know if we have to do it again, right?
I will. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, man. Thanks so much, Josh.
Sure.
I really appreciate everything. Love you.
Love you too.
Speak to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.